Hello and good evening for this Tuesday, October 3rd. We're in the week 9 of Big Brother 25, episode 26, the Power of Veto episode. But we just watched that. We're just going to start here on Super Mater Brothers Podcasting. I'm Dave Mater, joined with Josh Foster for the first Tuesday edition of the POV episode. Although, I got to say, I think we were robbed. How are you doing tonight, Foster?
As we were going for the podcast, Dave, it's been let's call it one of those nights. But and Big Brother was kind of the last straw, in my opinion. We're going to get into it because I got a lot of things to say. Hey, Sam.
He wants to say something. We'll have to see what
you want to say something. Well, we got to talk first, Sam. Let's get through the intro first, buddy. We all got things to say. Appreciate it as always. Dave, how you feeling tonight?
I feel robbed. I'm feeling robbed. I feel like, like the whole point of this middle episode in the week is we find out who the final nominations are. And every time they do this, where they don't tell us what the veto holder does and what is going to happen, it's usually when the HOH and the veto holder is the same person. I don't like it. I don't like when that's the cliffhanger. But that's what they left us with here. So that's the one thing I would, I came out of this episode sort of feeling with a bad taste in my mouth, and it was right at the end. But the rest of it was okay, sort of. I don't know. We can break it down.
First of all, once again, like the house guest said, I can't remember who said at the beginning of the episode, but it was like it's scary week is over, right?
This is what Sam has to say. Sam is still broken up with the Corey in America kissing. Well, Sam, if you only had constitutional pillow talk, then maybe you in America could have been something. But unless you're going to be chiming off about the amendments of the U.S. Constitution or the capital of various countries, as Corey can, it doesn't seem America is going to be changing lanes here. So, but how can you not be happy for the young love, Foster?
Well, first of all, Corey's growing a stash, and you can tell he's not shaved.
It's not a great one. It's kind of
a little dirty, but obviously it's working for him. So, all the power to him. Obviously, if you're watching, on YouTube or Twitch, me and Dave rocking the beards. Mine obviously a little bigger, but that's okay. That's how I usually I have it longer, but it got to look better for work these days. But anyways, the point is that I always appreciate a good facial hair.
There you go. There's the Corey stash.
It is an effort
in its glory. There, that's a heavy duty, 2-sided stash that 21-year-old man is rocking there.
Yeah, he's living the dream. He's living the dream right now.
He's the same age as my son. That's weird.
How old is that?
21.
21. Oh my goodness. What a time to be alive.
What a time. Yeah, but there he is. Who rocks it better, Austin Matthews or Corey?
Oh, Austin Matthews.
Yeah,
Corey's got, if we're comparing, if we even are, it's on, but like Matthews has, he's proven himself. He's a man, and Corey's just living in this fantasy world. And I think that, it's not because you even saw in the episode, like they're really on to Corey and how he's kind of like he feels really comfortable. Blue really sees it. We see in this episode the transparency through what he's trying to do.
Yes,
but I think that I feel like Corey is what's happened with Corey is he has succeeded very well so far. He realizes it. So he's trying to, I guess, secure more than he needs to right now. Like he's playing too hard at this. Like he kind of played enough to like catch up and be in a good position, but now he's like overplaying in terms of trying to, I guess, I'll cover all loose ends, if you will.
Yeah, I think that this is looking like Corey's my draft pick. I'm quietly rooting for him sort of as I watch these episodes. And I got to say, he's overplaying his hand here. He's overconfident. It's the classic, showman's distraction. It kind of brings me back to McCrae back in Big Brother 15. with with the Amanda showmance he had that season, and how he kind of let his game sort of fall apart because he was too preoccupied with that. Although Corey, I think, is a little bit better of a player than McRae, maybe more than a little, but yeah.
I will say, Dave, that one of my picks, rest in peace, Red. But my other pick was America. So technically, you and me have a showman going right now, Dave. And I want to ride this out with you to the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We only have how many more weeks to this? 4 more.
They're close. They're getting close. Like Corey and America are in a good position. If Corey stops, pressing hard, like Blue is where Jag really is. What's the word I'm looking for? He's very aware. Like he kind of knows what people are like, kind of what they're really thinking. But at the same time, he's also like, he's very like scared all the time. Or worried is a better word.
Yeah, paranoid.
Yeah, paranoid. That's probably the best word.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we should jump into like just what the recap of the episode here. What happened in this episode? We have nominees. We'll have the same nominees at the end of this episode as we started with, I guess, is the poetic thing here. It's Mikol, and we get the aftermath of the Mikol and Felicia nominations by Cameron. That is brought forward. We are seeing some. Okay, then we had the whole thing in the bathroom with the scare with the girls here. Hold on, I have the clip. Why would I? How can I?
No, I don't. We don't have to see it, Dave. Jeez, we don't know what you're talking about.
No, we have to have it. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Are you scared?
Dave, I was trying to ease into this episode, and now you just completely how could you bring that up?
It happened early.
Well, okay, folks, for those of you who don't know, I'm not good with scary movies. Like, it's just not my thing.
Is that what what was upsetting you coming into this? Not the fact that we didn't get the final, the post veto result?
That too, but that was why I was more upset. Is because I don't appreciate when they're shoving this crap down your throat and there's people who don't like it. There's we'll get into it, but
my wife is a big horror fan, and every October she's like, we're watching scary movies. She was very excited for this movie. We actually saw a preview of this in our feed before we even started the episode. She's like, oh, that seems interesting. So
oh my goodness.
So
no, I do not do well with them. Let's just say that.
Right. So you're watching this episode, when they were doing the whole competition. How'd you feel about that? It's a scary competition. You were not wishing you were in that competition?
Well, yeah, I was. Yeah, I probably would not have done well in that competition. I would have got that shit done, but it'd be really hard at the beginning to realize what I was, just to block out. Right. There was a lot of, because it's dark, so it's dark. You're trying to touch, you got to feel around. The light seems very dim. Once again, obviously, we're seeing night vision, so it realistically is a very narrow window of view, right? So it doesn't look like it's an easy challenge. And based by the times at the end, we see that it's the same thing. But I feel like this is a very once again, they talked about Cameron, right? And we'll get to him in a bit. But focus, right? You have to have a lot of focus in this POV. So I understand the concept of it. Once again, it's just my personal preference with the scary movies. But
right.
That's done for
Well, in the previous seasons, the season that Kyland was on, I remember that they did the whole Dear Evan Hansen promo. And that was a very different movie than this movie that they were promoting in this episode, right? So, but it was sort of the same tie-in of go to the theaters and watch this movie. It happens to be a scary movie, and so they were scaring the cast in the bathroom, which I played that clip of a short time ago. Then I think Felicia's initial reaction with Suri was kind of funny to me, where she was seriously scared. It was kind of like I think I got it here, where they're gonna just chill. Yeah, it comes down here, and then Yeah, there it goes. That was a good one.
I would have been freaked out. Like I just like you're gonna hear it a lot on the podcast, folks, because that was most of the episode was the POV comp, right? So, we got to talk about all these all their experience because everyone had different experiences. It felt like almost right when they were in there.
Yeah, well, Felicia maybe having the most different experience of them all. Although, she was doing so well. Okay, the other thing we have to talk about the episode, which I kind of made a joke about earlier, was the whole Corey and America in bed talking about U.S. constitutional amendments or whatever it was that she finds this hot. What's the sixth constitution? Speedy trial by your peers. This is some nerdy stuff here, but good on Corey for knowing it. She's 19 was suffrage for women. The repeal of prohibition was America's favorite amendment. When alcohol came back,
Yeah, no, it's this showman's could become something real if afterwards, right? Because it usually like it genuinely seems like America is like that's all she's interested in this game right now is like 90% Corey, 10% the game.
Yeah. So if Corey was evicted, how would what would happen to America's game if Corey was evicted? This is kind of what I was sort of left.
Well, she doesn't have anybody else because she spends her time with Corey, it seems.
Right. So she would have to adjust to that, right? Like she would have to make some kind of.
Well, I feel like
if she would Corey, adapt or and overcome or not, right?
Yeah. If Corey were to leave, then she would kind of I think float for a week or two. Right, unless like it was a final like fourth, with if for instance like we see they bring up again along this episode Cameron, Jag, and Matt as the fugitives, and so and they actually are in a really good position, like actually being a little bit more on top of everyone than Corey is, because Corey seems like he is, but there is a little bit more control, especially with Cameron's track record and Matt's track record and Jag as well. I know he's won a POV of winning comps, right? So the stranglehold is kind of becoming more real, but I don't think Corey and America see it.
No, they don't. And so if Cameron, I don't know. Like I'm kind of curious. I haven't actually looked ahead to see what the spoilers are to see what Cameron does not yet. So I'm still in the dark about what the result of this will be. So
I'll be honest. I did look, Dave.
Okay, don't tell me yet. But
we'll do spoilers at the end, and we'll talk. And if you want to do it, we'll talk about it.
Okay, but just as a guy who's currently in the dark about it, I don't know. Like I think that Jag gives the right advice to Cameron. I think it's too early of a move to go for him now. But I was left feeling like Cameron will do it. Just because he's got to be his own guy, and I think what his point about maybe Jag is working with Corey, so getting out Corey is even better of an idea now. So I feel like Cameron kind of tells us, I think, that he's going to do it, whether he does it or not. If he doesn't do it, I'll be kind of surprised, actually. But I think he's also kind of talked himself into this situation with Felicia, and that was kind of, I guess, the next conversation here in the episode, which we need to get to was it was the conversation with Cameron and Felicia up in the HOH room, where he was just straight up, I don't want to work with you. I think you're kind of my target. I don't want you in the jury house because I think you're always going to talk people out of voting for me in the end. And she's like, I'm offended by that. And he's like, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's how I feel. And I think he might be right. So
it was, what he's gone, the way that Cameron's gone through the game, he's experienced the highs and the lows, drastically, not just he's never been in the middle, right? So he's made all these kind of mistakes, and he kind of referred to it last time about kind of keeping it close to the chest, what his decisions were. So this time he's like, what, it didn't really work out, and I did get evicted, right? So I'm just going to be direct and not cause other people make a mess, right? And from a game perspective, it's very respectable because it's rare that you see somebody kind of come out and be really direct, as much as it might be not good to see on the other person, right? And Felicia takes it really well, obviously, right? But she, I once again, I don't know Do you think that Cameron is right to say that Felicia would turn the vote on him in the jury house?
I think based on the information he seems to have and what I've, it's not a surprise that she's not a fan of him, but I don't think that's exclusive to Felicia. I think it's also true of Mikol. I think Sari doesn't like him either. So there's a lot of people who don't care for Cameron, and I think that he's directing it more to Felicia because she's very persuasive, and I think there is some points to that. So based on this conversation, what he's told everybody else, like if he does choose to take her down, and put Corey next to Mikol, I think that's the weaker move. I think that if you're even going to do this, just take Mikol down and put up Corey next to Felicia, and then he's kind of covered. At least one of them are gone. But the biggest risk to Cameron would be like, okay, well now I'm going to take down Felicia and I'm going to put up Corey, and then they vote out Mikol just spite Cameron. If somehow that were to happen, right, then and Cameron has been blindsided before as HOH, so he should be savvy to this, or sort of be at least thinking about this a little bit, because just because Cameron wants something doesn't mean they have to vote that way. And so if she was to be evicted in Mimi, then like that's worst case scenario for him. Then like Corey and Felicia are coming after Cameron at that point. It's silly, so like it's almost like he can't risk putting up Corey because if he takes the shot, he has to get him out, and like how can you really guarantee it if it's Corey and Mikol? Like it seems like you would probably want to vote out Corey, but it like you would have to there's a chance that Corey can rally the votes. He's very persuasive in himself.
Yeah, once again, like it's right now, it's kind of teetering on. There's the Cameron's side and the Corey side, which is like it's not obvious like out in the open, but it's there. And then there's Jag, and Jag kind of like they have kind of the swing vote, right? And what's kind of what Jag was referring to was that like he doesn't, later on in the episode, is like he doesn't know which way he wants to go just yet, and he thinks it's early. Like he doesn't want to reveal his cards.
Right. Yeah. And so, that was sort of, I don't know. Cameron might be overplaying himself, but he's already been evicted himself. How many comps has Cameron won? Quite a few. Also, we're being asked what our couple name would be for David and Foster. I don't know. Doster. And do you hate Halloween, Foster? Is the next question.
All I'll say is my birthday is close enough that and it's not my favorite holiday.
How close is it?
Well, that's too much information for the masses, David.
All right. It's this month, though? It's coming
Yes,
up?
it is, yes.
Okay. I think I have that written down somewhere on a hockey roster. Well, anyway, I digress. Yeah, so there was that whole thing where, they both talk about Corey, basically, that in that being Cameron and Felicia, right? And then, that they kind of see it. Then we actually had the picking of the veto players, right? Oh, no. First, we had the preview of The Exorcist, where they showed us the trailer sort of for the movie. We're here together. I don't know. So you're not going to be seeing this movie?
No, Dave. Yeah, no, Dave. I don't want to see that. No. Jeez, Dave. No, I do not want to see it. I don't know what. It's. Oh, thanks, Sam. That's a little early, but it's at the end of the month. But that's. So
if we invite you to the Halloween party, the costume party, you're probably not going to attend.
No, that's different.
Okay,
right?
You're okay with Halloween parties.
No, it's just like movies, like
just movies.
It's just the movies. I can't. My mind's a little bit too like thinking real, right? And I know it's all fake, but it's just like it's so. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think
big birthday wishes here.
Yeah, I saw. Thank you, Sam. Yeah.
Okay, the competition. Let's talk about the veto comp itself. Or I guess the only thing we didn't really talk about was the house guest choices that were made by a couple of players in the draw. So I'm trying to remember who picked out who. Did Cameron pick Matt?
Cameron picked out house guest choice and picked Matt, and then She was the other. She got picked by Felicia.
Felicia. Who picked who did Miko pick?
Mimi picked House Guest Choice, and she picked Blue. Right,
Blue.
because
Okay.
she knew that Blue
She
would
wants to
take her
work with
down.
Blue.
Yeah, she's Blue's on the side with Nicole or Mimi and Felicia against like Corey in America basically right now. And there's the three other guys.
Yeah, because I think like we need more of this, because I'm like, remember that Bowie Jane's in this house too, and she's a number, like there's all these like players. You feel like we're down to like the final 6 right now, but we're not. We're like in the final 10 or something, and so there's just a way more players. And I don't know, like who's aligned with who. Like obviously we know America and Corey, and of course we know Cameron. There's the whole what are they called? The Watchmen? No. The Minutemen, and then there's the Fugitives, right? But then Bowie Jane is aligned with who? I don't know. Obviously Nicole and Felicia are a pair.
They get stipulated pay, right?
They get what?
Like do they get paid to be there?
They get stipend, yeah.
Yeah, stipend. Sorry, yeah. So, was Bowie Jane a recruit? You think?
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I doubt Bowie Jane's a recruit. But
okay, because it just seems it's just like you're just there to like do nothing. Like I don't know, like there's not showing anything, right? So I just don't understand why she's like what is.
She doesn't seem like a super fan either, though, right? So it is a bit of an odd one. So you might be right. She might be a recruit. That's something Jaemeel would know if he was there. I feel like you would have probably an opinion there, but I think she's here to win. But I just feel like Bowie Jane's just playing this low key game, and we're gonna. Maybe we'll see. Maybe it's just a low key, never key game. We'll see. Okay, the competition itself, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Standing around the dark, but they gave you a flashlight. They had all these little scary things in the mirrors. You had to crawl through the mud and the water. Blue's segment was funny. I was laughing at Blue quite a few times in this with her the hair. I hate hair. Let's watch this clip.
Oh, hair. Right above the sink, this close to the wall, I see the word hair. And I think to myself, oh, I hate hair. Ew.
I hate hair. I couldn't stop laughing at that. When that happened, there was I thought Blue's narration was funny, and then we've seen this is how they fill an episode. Okay, Felicia's performance, I think, is how we have to talk about that, because she starts off pretty strong, but she goes from the bathroom in where she gets the hair, and then she goes into the room with the candle. She gets the candle, but we saw a couple of the players, they had a hard time realizing they had to crawl through the fireplace to get to the next room. They didn't realize, so there was a couple of times. So she goes back into the bathroom thinking it's a new room where it's hair again, but it's not. And eventually Felicia walks out the front door and she's just by herself. And so I guess she timed out is kind of what the point was. We don't get everyone's times at the end of this competition, only the top 3. But I was pretty sure that it was either going to be Cameron or Blue. Mimi was a bit of a surprise when she was announced as the winner, or as the second place, I guess. I thought the segment was kind of fun. I liked the power of BB compels you and stuff endings that we got. Let's just see these times. Oh. And here we go. Blue. Yeah, so 9:15 for one of them. For Nicole, 8:22. Sorry, for Blue. There we go. So Cameron only beats Nicole by 23 seconds. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it was a lot closer than I thought. Like when I saw Blue, Nicole, and then Cameron, I thought, okay, well, if Cameron's going to do it, I think he would do it by a lot more. But no, again, Matt obviously didn't do that well either, right? So
Matt, yeah, I didn't think Matt did as poorly as he came. I think he was probably in 4th, but and I wonder how close he was to these times. But I thought he would actually do better. He seemed like, based on what I saw in the edit and in the episode, he seemed like he wasn't struggling or wasting a lot of time. So I expected him to be in the top 3, and he wasn't. So that was, instead it was Blue. So who seemed not to be going that fast, who was really hamming it up for the cameras in her segment. But yeah, there was okay. There's a whole like I think we have to talk about the whole conversation here with Corey and Blue in the hammock. That because Blue has been saying that she would rather the target this week be Corey. She's still mad at Corey for getting out Jared. But Cameron has been fixated on getting out Felicia, so she's not been willing to push back too hard. But basically in this conversation, Corey tells Blue that he would like to go after Cameron, which I think is pretty dumb, especially considering Cameron just won the veto, which basically is what Blue says in her confessional. And I think that this is where I don't know how you can forgive this or explain away this in Corey's game as anything but sloppy. I just don't think there's a logic to this, because I guess what he's trying, the intent here was that he just says he wants to try to get Blue on his side, or he wants to at least tell her what she wants to hear and see if he can have even a fake sort of alliance here. But he's kind of sure that she would target him too, and so and he would like to target her. So instead of saying I'm going to come after you, Blue, he says I'd like to go after Cameron, but I guess say somebody else. Say you're going after America. I think that would be a better choice here for him than to say that he would go after Cameron. Any thoughts on that?
Once again, as we mentioned many times so far, Corey has overplayed his hand. I think he was once again. I think he was under the radar for where he needed to be. He rose when he, I think at the right time to kind of establish, right? And I think that he went too far.
Yeah,
because Blue saw right through it.
Well, okay. The other thing I thought that surprised me here a little bit was, well, not surprised, because it was actually the most logical thing here. But okay, so Cameron's choice for who got to go watch the movie was Blue, Matt, and Jag, who are the people he's working with the closest. So I guess that's the right choice. But is it too obvious? Is sort of what I was left asking myself when in the picks that he made here to watch the movie.
Yeah, well, I think that was once again that could be a legit Final Four,
right? And so again, are the other players not doing enough to sort of counteract this, to try to dispel this or try to run interference?
Well, first off, I want to say that I can't believe, looking at this photo, I can't believe Jag is around. And you mentioned this episode when he was unanimously voted.
Yes.
It's oh my goodness, how
Cameron and Jag have both been voted out, but they're still here, right? So they're in the house.
Yeah, well, I guess at least it's not Jag, I guess. But still, anyways, no, it's they could go far. Sorry, what was your question?
Well, it just was. Is the other side of the house not doing enough? Because if this is now a new group, and it seems to be with Blue sort of being the bottom of this group, but she doesn't, without Jared, she doesn't have a lot of options anymore, right? So I think she's happy to sort of be in with that team. So,
yeah, I think she she's slid herself into that kind of group and just said, I can get feeding you information like she did with Cameron. She's building that trust quickly like she needs to, but she's also recognizing that, if she's against Corey, then, that's the only other person she would have gone with is Mimi and Felicia. But, that was not really realistic, and final three in a sense, right? It makes more sense to kind of go with the guys and see if they pick off each other closer to the end.
Right. Okay. The other thing that struck me a little bit odd about this episode was the speeches from both Mimi and Felicia's was great, but normally they don't say tell me why I should use the veto on you. We used to do this every time, but I feel like we did away with this practice in recent years, and now it's back. But I guess it was done just because Felicia was I have something to say. I'm going to blow up the house. Which she kind of goes right after Corey, because this other thing that kept coming up in the episode was the fact that that Corey and America are working with Felicia Mikol, and that's sort of a foursome that they are working with, but they really rather work with Jag and Matt. So they, again, like they're kind of playing both sides. Corey more the brains of that duo, I would say, more than America. And and so they were putting out there, well, it was actually Miko and Felicia came to us with the final four, and so we just said yes, but it's actually not true. So so Felicia calls out Corey in like her little speech here that she gives in the moments here afterwards. How do you feel about the speech, and do you think it's going to have any effect?
I think it will have effects. I think that Felicia, if she stays, is gone, right? Like on the block, I mean, right? If she stays on the block, she's gone, because I think that once again she kind of and then because once again Corey in America will just rally to get the votes to get her out at this point, right? Because she's blowing up Corey's game in a sense, right? But once again, I think it also isolates Corey in America and in them being like, they're also here too, and they're strong. They're trying to make moves, right? Which is true. So it's interesting to see, but at the end of the day, that you saw Jag saying that he still doesn't know which side to pick, right? Which is interesting.
Yeah. He'd rather not have to play his cards now. He is what Jag tells us. He'd rather kind of keep his options open, and sort of like let this play out for another week or so before making any big moves. And I think there's some reason and logic to that, but I don't think that's necessarily how Cameron rolls. So anyway, okay, so that's the episode recap. I was everything out there. I was disappointed that we didn't get the result here. Like, I think they should always give us the result going into Thursday. There's no point leaving us wondering and having to go look it up especially when it's 2 days. Just tell us. It's already happened. Anyway, so that's all I have to say about that. And I think I need to get into the spoiler section here, Foster. But is there anything else about the episode proper you want to say?
Let me just check my. No. I think we're good.
Okay. Well, okay, let's get into the spoiler section here. I have to open up the soundboard. And we're going to break that down. And if you don't want to know, get the hell neck out of here. But you should want to know as much as I want to know. Here we go. That's right.
So you ready? Yeah? You want to know what he does?
Yeah. Tell me what he does.
He does not use it.
Okay, so this was all just teasing us, because I would be surprised, just based on how deep he was in on Felicia and wanting her out, that to change his mind now. But then on the other hand, the fact that he's talking openly about, I'm going after Corey because Corey said he was coming after me, and I know that for a fact, and he tells Matt and Jag about it because Blue tells him this information right away. But again, Cameron's been lied to before by Suri and other people. You think he'd be a little bit like, well, how do I know it's true? Why don't I just talk to Corey? But that's sort of not there. So okay, he doesn't use it. The nominations are there, and do you think the House will want to vote out Felicia over Mimi?
I mean, I think yes, because I think that the outburst kind of seems that she may be volatile, right, and hard to work with. Whereas Mimi is still playing that kind of quiet, careful game, if you will, right? So it comes off more across that it's easier to work with Mimi right now. But I don't think there's going to be. I don't even know. Do you think it would be a unanimous vote for Felicia?
I'm not sure. I have no sense of where Bowie Jane would vote, or where I think Suri would want to keep around Felicia, right? So there's a few votes here that I'm unclear about what they would do. I think that, if you're anti-Cameron, then keeping Felicia seems like the better move. But who is anti-Cameron?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like he's kind of like, he figuratively rose from the dead, as they called it, and he's going to go really far. He's probably going to go final 3 or maybe 4.
Right. How many people vote this week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 people voting this week. So you need 4 to evict somebody. So Corey and America are anti-Cameron, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
So that's 2 votes. You only need 2 more. Can you get Sari and Bowie Jane to vote with you?
To keep Felicia?
Yeah, even if Matt and Jag don't want to. Even if Matt and Jag want to stay loyal to Cameron.
I mean, I don't think it'd be why would Corey want to keep Felicia after this?
Because well, he probably won't, but maybe he should, because Felicia is going to be anti-Cameron.
Yes.
So because, and Cameron is still, I think Cameron is not going to be an ally to Corey, I think, moving forward. So I think if Corey can look ahead 2 steps, it might be like, I don't think he's going to be working with Mimi either, right? So it seems like it's not to work with Felicia. It's just more that she's going to be more of somebody who's going to be sort of loud and in Cameron's face, and a distraction. And he might get preoccupied and not come after Corey or America, because of that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see, unfortunately, until Thursday, because that's, the new time shift, in 48 hours instead of 24-hour wait.
48 hours instead of 24. Yeah, now it's 2 days. So we get Survivor tomorrow, and then Big Brother. Well, it kind of works out with Tuesdays now, because Big Brother. We were just going to skip Big Brother on Wednesday, and they're like, "Nope, we're going to move the show to Tuesday, and then you'll have to do it." I was like, "All right, I guess that can work." So this is week 9. How many more weeks? Week 9. So the next 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So that's 5 more after this. Is that right? No, yeah, 5 more. It's too many, I'd say. But anyway, Jeff's going to Iceland. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, that's going to be exciting for him. It's I heard it's green. I heard it's pretty green in Iceland.
Iceland is nice and Greenland is cold. That's what the Mighty Ducks 2 taught me. Anyway, I didn't know Iceland was a big hockey powerhouse into that movie either. So that was Ludvig Borga and some other Finnish strongholds. Okay, that's it for the episode, guys. I guess it only took us 37 minutes. Are you less angry than you were coming into it? Did I calm you down?
Yes, it did. Yes, you did, Dave. As always, you're always a calming presence. That's for sure. And you bring the others down to your level.
Good. I'm bringing you down to my level in the calm zone. So, even though I'm known for my calmness, if you ask my wife. Okay. What next? We'll be back Thursday. We already mentioned Survivor tomorrow night. We'll be on to talk about the episode 2. And yeah, Jaemeel's hopefully going to be back from nights in the near future. Thursday, the eviction, as well as in the Federation of Podcasts, which is this channel is part of. We have a whole bunch of other podcasts like Star Trek, Live Long and Podcast. If you like Star Trek, check out that channel. We have Trivial Debates, a channel where we argue about movies, TV, sports, and more. Most recently, we had a horror episode. Josh Foster did not tune into this one. but Davan was hosting along. Jaemeel competed, Jessica Chan, and a newcomer from England, Morris, I believe his name was. So check out that episode. And then Eamon on Track, my son, he talks about music, not just scary music, but other non-scary music too. But you know what podcast Foster probably doesn't want to listen to? The Hellbound podcast, a horror movie podcast with Michael Chan, Alex Blackburn, because they're talking about horror movies. And scary times. But you might be watching X-Rated if you like the X-Men, Foster. Do you like X-Men the animated series? They were on tonight.
I have the X-Men actually animated series.
There you go. So you're a fan of that one. So there's something for everybody in the Federation. The Graphic Histories podcast with André Myette, he recently interviewed me. So go on and check the most recent episode with me and André talking about a whole bunch of different topics, mostly podcasting. And Hold Up, a movie podcast with Davan and Murphy, where they argue about movies. It's a marathon every time. We're going to be talking about space movies like Apollo 13 and Ad Astra, and there's another one in there, Outland, I think it's called. I'll be on with those guys next week to talk about that. Lots going on in podcast universe, in the Federation of Podcasts. And any final thoughts, Foster, before we sign off for the night?
No, I'm good, Dave. Finish her off. Well,
thank you very much. We'll see you next time, everybody. And on that note, I'll leave you with this.
You got here because you were able to win comps. I got here because of who I am.
This transmission.
See you on the flip side.